Nikola Topić, on August 10, 2005. Today's feature was supposed to enter the NBA as one of the most polished guards from Europe, but before his career could ever begin, injuries, setbacks, and a life-altering cancer diagnosis pushed his timeline further and further back from anyone could ever imagine. After missing the entire season last year and fighting battles bigger than basketball, Topić finally stepped onto an NBA floor. And now the question isn't just who can he become, it's whether his journey has already changed his trajectory forever. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Nikola Topić is a 6'6" point guard from Novi Sad, Serbia, who emerged as one of Europe's most polished young playmakers long before reaching the NBA. Developing through the Zvezda pipeline, he quickly gained recognition for his pace, composure, and advanced feel as a floor general. Instead of relying on flash or elite athleticism, Topić built his reputation on timing, vision, and an ability to control rhythm of a game well beyond his years. A breakout stretch in the Adriatic League with Mega Basket elevated his stock even further as he showcased strong pick-and-roll reads, creative finishing angles, before his time competitiveness and leadership abilities, and the patience scouts often look for in a long-term lead guard. His size allowed him to see over defenses, while his calm decision-making separated him from many guards in his draft class. By the time the 2024 NBA draft approached, evaluators viewed him as a modern, oversized initiator, a player capable of running an offense, setting tempo, and growing into a reliable starting point guard over time. The Oklahoma City Thunder selected him 12th overall, believing his high basketball IQ and positional versatility aligned perfectly with their evolving basketball system. Expectations weren't built around highlight plays, but around steady progression, leadership potential, and the idea that Topić could eventually become a stabilizing presence in a young, fast-rising roster. Then his journey started testing him in ways he's still recovering from today. Stunt number 1, the injury that paused his arrival. Before Nikola Topić ever had the chance to grow into his NBA role, his momentum was stopped almost immediately by a torn ACL, an injury that didn't just delay his debut, it erased an entire year of development. For most rookies, that first season is about learning pace, building chemistry, and adjusting to the physical demands of the league. For Topić, it became a year of watching from the sidelines while the game kept moving forward without him. Oklahoma City's young core continued to evolve, roles became more defined, and the rhythm of the team started to form without the lottery pick many expected to see on the floor. What made the setback even tougher was how important timing is for a young guard. Playmakers often rely on live reps to sharpen decision-making and confidence, especially when transitioning from European systems to the speed and spacing of the NBA. Missing that learning curve meant Topić wasn't just rehabbing physically, he was also losing the natural progression most rookies depend on to find their footing. While other players from his draft class began building highlights, narratives, and fan expectations, his journey remained quiet and uncertain. Injuries don't just affect athleticism, they reshape perception. The longer a prospect stays off the court, the easier it becomes for fans and analysts to shift their attention elsewhere. Like the Thunder recently did, acquiring Jared McCain at the mid-season trade deadline. Conversations that once focused on potential slowly turned into questions about durability and long-term outlook. Instead of entering the league with momentum and curiosity, Topic's arrival became tied to recovery timelines and patience. By the time he moved closer to returning, the league looked different from the one he had prepared to enter. Teammates had grown into larger roles, systems had evolved, and the excitement surrounding his draft night felt more distant than recent. Not to mention an ACL being a serious injury to return from. Rather than stepping into the NBA as a rising young guard ready to contribute, Nikola Topić found himself in a position many rookies never expect, trying to begin a career that had already been forced to pause before it truly started. Stunt number 2, the diagnosis no rookie prepares for. Just as Nikola Topić worked toward returning from his ACL injury, another obstacle emerged, one far bigger than basketball. Right before the 2025-26 season, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer, a moment that shifted the focus from development and expectations to health and survival. For a young player already trying to regain rhythm after missing an entire year, the news brought on a level of uncertainty few athletes ever face so early in their careers. Instead of training camp battles, preseason adjustments, and the excitement of finally stepping onto an NBA court, Topić found himself navigating treatment, recovery, and the mental weight that comes with a life-altering diagnosis. Physically, the timing couldn't have been more difficult. Guards rely heavily on conditioning, repetition, and confidence in their bodies, all things that become fragile during extended medical setbacks. While the rest of the league moved into a new season, Topic's focus shifted toward regaining strength and simply feeling like himself again. The normal rookie timeline, already delayed by injury, was pushed even further away. Every milestone that typically defines a young player's early growth, first training camp, early rotations, building chemistry, remained on hold. Mentally, the challenge ran deeper. For a player known for patience and composure on the court, the uncertainty off it tested a different kind of resilience. Instead of preparing to prove his place in Oklahoma City's future, he had to step back from the game entirely and confront something no scouting report or development plan could predict. The conversation around him changed from potential and fit to hope and recovery, reminding everyone that basketball careers can be reshaped by moments far beyond performance. By the time Topić began working his way back toward NBA action, expectations had shifted once again. The focus was no longer on how quickly he could impact a roster, but on the simple reality of making it back to the floor at all. Before he ever had the chance to establish himself as a professional, Nikola Topic's journey became defined by perseverance, turning what's supposed to be a second beginning into another long road back. Stunt number 3, entering the league behind schedule. By the time Nikola Topić finally saw NBA minutes, the biggest challenge wasn't simply returning to the court, it was carving out a role within a team that had already established its identity. Oklahoma City's system had evolved around ball movement, versatility, and guards who could seamlessly shift between scoring and playmaking. For a young point guard whose strength lies in controlling possessions and learning through repetition, finding space within a structured rotation requires patience rather than immediate impact. Instead of being developed through heavy early usage, Topić stepped into a situation where every minute had to be earned carefully. Adjusting to NBA pace without the usual rookie runway also created a steep learning curve. Decision-making windows close faster, defensive pressure is more physical, and spacing demands quicker reads than most European systems. Those adjustments normally happen gradually across a full season, but for Topić they arrived all at once. Each appearance will become less about proving potential and more about showing adaptability, making simple plays, understanding timing with teammates, and building trust within the offense. There's also the reality of expectations shifting. Early lottery buzz tends to fade when a player hasn't been visible on the court, which can quietly reset how fans and analysts view their ceiling. Instead of entering with hype, Topic's debut felt more like reintroduction, a chance to remind people why he was valued as a long-term floor general in the first place. That kind of reset can be both freeing and challenging, removing pressure while also reducing margin for early mistakes. Still, stepping into live NBA action marked a turning point. The focus was no longer about projections or timelines, but on tangible growth, learning when to push the pace, when to slow it down, and how to translate his patient European style into a faster, more demanding environment. For the first time since draft night, Nikola Topić wasn't defined by what he had missed, but by how quickly he could begin shaping his own role moving forward. All in all, Nikola Topic's career hasn't followed the timeline many expected when he was drafted into the NBA, where instead of gaining momentum through a traditional rookie season, his journey has been shaped by setbacks that forced patience before he ever got a chance to prove himself on the court. But his debut isn't the end of a comeback story, it's the real beginning of one. Expectations may feel quieter now, but that can create space for steady growth without the pressure that once surrounded his name. The vision, composure, and feel that made him a lottery pick are still there. Now, rather than chasing old projections, Topić has the opportunity to build his career on his own pace. Not to mention, show that growth doesn't always follow a straight line. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.